Hi, I'm Hector Garcia. I'm a CPA and a QuickBooks consultant. I am not a marketing expert. I am not a video editing expert. However, I create a lot of YouTube videos or a lot of videos for YouTube. And a lot of the questions I have is, Hector, how do you do all the editing? How do you find time to make videos and edit videos? So one thing I want to let you know, make it clear, creating videos takes a long time. It's very time consuming. However, it is one of the best things, promotional tools I ever done, because I get people from all over the world watch my videos and they want to hire me, not just because I'm an amazing accountant and consultant, but because they got to see my work, they got to experience what it's like to work with someone like me, and they usually pay, and I'm not cheap, they usually pay whatever I'm worth for me to help them in a one-on-one scenario. So I'm going to definitely encourage you to make your own videos, create your own content, because people will hire you if you are a subject matter expert. Anyway, I'm going to show you real quick my process on how I do video editing. I used a piece of software called ScreenFlow. I work on Mac, so I use ScreenFlow. It's $100. It's one of the best $100 I ever spent. And let me just show you a couple of things that I do. So this is a video that I recorded earlier. It was about 30 minutes long. If I hit Command minus and Command plus, I can zoom in and out of my preview screen. If I go to the File menu and click on Document Settings, I can actually choose the video format, and typically you want to be on 720p or 1080 HD, especially with all these machines that play YouTube videos on TVs. Built-in smart TVs and Apple TV and all these things. You want to be on HD because it's in a 50-inch, 55-inch screen. It's not going to look as good as on a little mobile device. So you want to start thinking about recording on at least on 1080p HD. Some people are doing some crazy 4K resolutions. I'm not there yet. So this is where you choose the dimensions, and that kind of lets you know within your workable screen what you can record. As a matter of fact, let me show you something real quick. It's actually kind of cool. I actually have a much bigger screen than standard HD format. So if you actually look at what I recorded an ultra wide image that actually wouldn't fit the box as well. So that's what I like about that black box. It lets me know within what bounds I'm going to work with, and I'm actually zooming in or zooming out, and I'm choosing within that work area what exactly is it that I'm going to show on the final video. Now I also do webcam. So I have this little box here. This is me, this is my face. So I get to choose where I want to put it. Now in some cases, I like to put it, move it around, depending on what area of the screen I'm doing, especially if I'm doing some sort of software memo. Sometimes I like to make it really small, like here in the corner, just so it doesn't bother the screen, but people know it's a physical person talking, not just a voice. Sometimes we can go back and forth and make it big, then make it small. So I'll show you some examples of that. So I'm going to start with, let me just make this sort of like medium size, and I'm going to put it here on the bottom right side. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things. So I'm going to hit play, and notice that this part is, and I'll stop there. So there was a little bit of delay from the moment I hit record to the moment I started talking. So what I can do is I can go find that moment in which I want to start. So let's say, for example, I want to start, let's say here, there. I got my eyes open, perfect. Let's say I want to start there. So I'm going to select both of my channels, which is basically, one is my audio and webcam channel, and the other one is my screen capture channel. So I'm going to select both, and then I'm going to hit T on the keyboard. That's a split. Okay, you can also hit the edit menu and click on split. You're going to be pressing that button all day long. So I basically split it, and I select the two that I don't want, which was just basically just me staring at the screen. Right click and click on, is there a right click delete, or maybe it's not? Just select them and click on delete. I usually never right click anyway. So I'm gonna now select the current two channels, and I'm gonna drag them to the left. Okay, that way they start right at the very beginning. So I'm gonna go all the way to the beginning and then click on play. Perfect, that was perfect for me. Now another thing you wanna see is when I hit plus and minus on the keyboard, you get to actually zoom in and zoom out on your work area. So as I click plus, I'm zooming in really on my wavelengths of audio, and in my work area, where if I click minus, it zooms out. So you want to, in some cases, you want to be really zoomed in some cases, really zoomed out. Notice that I have a little bit of red here on the audio part. I mean, I don't know if you can tell from the video. I think you can tell now. That means that the audio topped out a little bit. And if you have too much of that, you're going to have a lot of audio distortion. So I'm going to show you some of the audio filters to kind of smooth out that audio. So let me scroll out and then click minus. So one of the things I'm going to look after is for times in which I basically stopped talking. So for example, there was a point in time where I logged into the bank. I'm going to hit play. User ID and password in there. And I literally just had to wait until, until the whole process finished. So I'm not going to let a person sit there watching a YouTube video for 20 seconds, just watch me just wait. So normally what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll cut. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And then I'm going to cut right where I basically stopped talking. So I'm going to cut somewhere around here. Press T. And then I'll zoom out with the minus key. And then I'm going to move forward to when I start talking. Zoom back in. And then maybe somewhere, maybe a couple seconds before I start talking, hit T again. And then when I zoom out, you're going to see now 3 sections. You're going to see the first section, the section I want to cut out, and then the rest of the section. So I'm going to grab the 2 from the middle, delete them, and obviously I can't leave that gap there, so I'm going to have to now close them in together. So let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, select my 2 channels, drag them all the way to the left. Normally it'll snap on to the last one, and then you want to bring in your red cursor right there to the middle, and then press plus to zoom in. And what you want to do is, so you don't have a weird break, like I'm going to show you this. Password in there. See how that video jumped? So what you want to do is to avoid that video from jumping, you leave, like 2 seconds of no audio on the left side of the clip, and then 2 seconds of no audio on the right side of the clip. So I select both, and now I'm going to drag them to the left so they overlap. And what's awesome about the software is that this will automatically create what's called the transition. So this will actually transition between the 2. So you're going to see how it comes in much smoother. So I'm going to hit play so you can see what that looks like. My user ID and password in there. And see, so you have a little bit of a softer sort of transition. So I do that a lot of times. So I'm going to zoom out and then look for another huge gap. It looks like it happened again. See, notice I got this gap of about 26 seconds, and the way I measured it was with the timer here. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to cut it somewhere around here. Press T. Then scroll to the right. Zoom out. Select my cursor again a few seconds below. Notice I'm starting to open my mouth there. So I'm going to go somewhere around here. Press T. Zoom out. Cut this part out, right? That's just repetitive work. Select the clips again, drag them to the left, move the red cursor to the middle because that's my focal point. Zoom in, do the same thing with the transitions, right? Beautiful. Zoom out, let's see what this looks like. Otherwise, your books are going to be all over the place. So only focus on those accounts that contain the business transactions that matter for your accounting purposes. And when it's completed, perfect. So that's a perfect transition, right? So we're good there. Let's see if we have another gap here somewhere. Looks like I don't remember having any more. Yeah, this is actually pretty continuous. So let me go towards the end here, and there usually is going to be a gap from the moment I say goodbye to the end. So I'm going to click somewhere and hit play. Other videos will be posted in the comment section below as well. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to leave it right there until my last smile. Select the 2 channels that I want to cut. Press T. Get rid of those 2. Hit delete. Perfect. Perfect ending transition. So one of the things I like to do is I always add my email, right? Because I never really tell people, call me if you need help. Call me if you want to hire me. I'm the expert. I don't do that. I let the videos speak for themselves. But I do have to have a way of people contacting me if they want to hire me. So I'm going to add my email address to be fixed there throughout the entire video. You can do the same thing with a phone number, with a website, with whatever tag you want to put in there. So what I'm going to do is, if you see this, these 3 channels that are here, I'm going to grab the one on the bottom, which is the blank one, and I'm going to click and drag by clicking on this little part with the 3 little lines. Click and drag them to the top. That way I have now a blank channel on the top, basically a blank slate. Let me zoom out, and then I'm gonna click on the right side of the screen. This is my toolbox, I don't know what it's called, the tools. I'm gonna click on the little T, which is for text, and then I'll click on the plus sign, which is to add text. And then sometimes I'll add it to the wrong channel, like I did here. See, added it at the end of that channel, so I can just click and drag it and put it on. Just click and drag that. Let me zoom in a little bit. Click and drag that and put it on the top like that. Perfect. Okay, and I also want to make sure that this is in the entire video. So I'm gonna just expand that text channel to be on the entire video. Also, you can have that show up later on in the future. It doesn't have to be throughout the whole video, but that's what I'm trying to achieve. So then I'm gonna come in the text, and then I'll put my email address, Hector at Garcia CPA.com. Also make sure that if you're going to use video for promoting yourself and you're going to use an email that's easy to read, easy to transcribe. Remember, they're not clicking on this or anything like that. They actually have to come in another email software and type it. So make sure something that's easy, make it bold, and I'm going to make the font, let's say 36. Okay, that works. Bring this down. Usually put that right there next to my smiling face. I can also add margins. So if I want like kind of a big margin around the email, so I can choose how thick of a margin I want here on the right side. And then I'm going to take my video and drag this up. I'm going to put it maybe somewhere around here. Okay, perfect. So let's see how this plays out. Let's see. Yeah, so I think this video right there is going to bother me quite a bit with that size. So let me zoom out for a second. Let me select my entire channel that contains video. And I have to make sure that the video is located. Notice that my video is located in different places. See? So when I click and drag it, I probably want to be consistent on that. So I'm going to put my video, I'm going to put it on the bottom left. And then I'm also going to make this actually a lot smaller. Let's see if I make it this big. Probably this will likely to be better. I'm going to put my email address here on the left side. So I'm going to try something new here. Perfect. So I got my email address. Let me lower the margin a little bit. Okay. And my video. Okay, that's good. Let me look at the next video. Okay, so in this cut section, I'm all the way here. So I have to drag that again and make this much smaller. See if we can stay consistent. Okay. Now I want to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so that needs to be dragged down. Match the size. Okay, let's do the next one. Same thing. I'm going to bring this over here and around there somewhere. Let's see. Okay, so make this one a little bit bigger. That should do it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so throughout the video, I just have to make sure that that talking head there doesn't bother it as much. So I'm just kind of going through it to see if there is something else. I think I may be okay at this point. So let me go ahead and save my video file. And we'll call this one Hector's video, whatever I want to call it. So I'm just saving the video file. I'm not exporting it for YouTube yet. One thing I want to do before we do the actual publishing is I'm going to select the entire audio track and I'm going to add a sound filter. Now I'm going to lower the volume a little bit so we can kind of appreciate the audio from it for a second. So I'm going to go ahead and click on play. It's not doing a match. Why is it not doing a match? Okay, so you just focus on the audio for a second. Then I'm going to come here into the audio tool here on the right side, and I can actually manipulate the volume, lower or raise the volume if I want to. Normally I leave it at 100%. There are cases in which I have to change that. And then there's this little button here called smooth audio volume levels. What that would do is in moments where I go too loud, it lowers it a little bit. In moments that I'm speaking too soft, it will increase them as well. So that could work. Sometimes it makes it sound a little bit computerized, so that's not always a great thing to use, but really up to you. But one of the great filters I like to use here is this one called Remove Background Noise. I'll click on that one. I'm actually in a pretty quiet place, so there isn't that much background noise. So I'm going to go ahead and lower this to maybe 40%. and then I add an effect called small room EQ. Now you want to play with all these effects. Like for example, if I do large room and press play, you zoom this in. Is because there isn't a single transaction that matches it one-to-one. So I actually have to go to find match, and I'm gonna get a new. Okay, so you can tell there's a whole bunch of echo, right? So there are places in which I want to do echo, and places that I don't want to do echo. In this case, I like doing small room EQ, and I put it to about 10%. That combination of 40% noise reduction and 10% EQ is kind of what I like. I'll hit play real quick so you can hear it, but just so you know, the video you're watching right now is going to be under that setting. So, I mean, I don't really have to play it to show you, but on this particular deposit that contains more than one customer. So but you can really tell the difference, right? You can absolutely tell the difference. Okay, so once my audio is good and my email's there and my video and all the other components are fine, one of the things I want to do is now export it to be able to import it into YouTube. So what I do is I click on File, I click on Export, and then I select a preset called Web High, and then I click on Scale, and I click on 100%. So that's what I want to use, Web High, and then scale 100%, and then click on Export, and it will ask me where I want to save this. So I normally, at this point, I'm going to save it similar to how I'm going to call it in YouTube. So I'm going to call this editing videos in ScreenFlow and preparing for YouTube upload, right? Whatever, right? So save that, click on save. Depending on how fast your computer is, this could take 10 minutes, this could take an hour. I mean, it all really varies on the video size and all that stuff. And then once you're ready to upload to YouTube, what you do is you go into YouTube, assuming you already have your YouTube channel. And normally what you do is, as long as you have a Gmail account and you log into YouTube, on the top right of the screen where you see your a little logo, you're going to click there on the right of the screen, and you're going to click on Create Channel or something like that. And then once your channel is created, you're going to see an arrow up here, like a little right arrow called Upload. And then to upload, you just click on Upload, select the file in your computer. Like it's going to ask you, hey, which file in your computer would you like to upload? And then I just come in and I'll click and drag whatever video file I have, drop it there, and it will upload. Now, of course, it needs to be the correct file format. Right now I'm not uploading the right file format, so I'm gonna get an error at some point. But as long as you use the right file format that I mentioned before, that you're not gonna have any errors. And then it's gonna ask you to give it a title, right? Give it a name, give it a description, give it some tags, choose whether or not it should be public, and then you click on publish and upload, and you will be done. So hopefully this video was useful. If you're using a Mac, ScreenFlow is a great software to use, and I will be posting videos like this in the future. So make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit like, add comments below. But a little bit of a warning: if you're not already a follower of my channel and you got here because you're more into the video editing stuff, my channel is mostly about QuickBooks, accounting, and business advisory. So either way, it should be interesting. It's stuff that you should learn. Anyway, thank you very much. Again, hit like, subscribe to my channel, add comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.